So we're first starting off with the Tisaruk. So the thing is, I believe that the Tisaruk is based off of the oarfish, or at least the art is. Now, one reason why I say this is because if you look at a sea monster map, you'll see that the other sea monsters resemble somewhat of a plesiosaurus, while the Tisaruk looks like an actual snake, looks like an actual long thing. It doesn't just look like, a plesiosaurus, looks like a long fish, So that makes me believe that's an oarfish. And another thing is like on the map, there is red on the body. And if you look at an oarfish, there's also red on the oarfish's body, which makes me think that it could potentially be an oarfish. But then again, that theory is foiled because oarfishes are known as the doomsday fish. And if you see it, then probably there's going to be an earthquake. Also, oarfishes live very deep, and I don't think that it would be able to come up because that's the only way that people will see it if it comes up. But since oarfishes live very deep, I don't think that people will be able to see it. So, yeah, I don't think it's an oarfish, but at least the art is based off of it, which brings me to my next theory that it's an eel. And in fact, there's actually footage of it captured. And does it look like an eel? Well, yeah. And in fact, I actually Googled it, and it says that there are eels inside of Alaska. And in fact, there's a specific type of eel. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like lamprey, I think. And it's a type of eel that inhabits inside of Alaska. And that could be potentially what they saw. So, yeah. Okay, so moving on to number 2 is Colossal Claude. Now, this one, they actually have quite a bit of proof because they recorded it, or like they did record it, but there is an image of a radar and it had it, okay? And there was an image, so I think that that's proof, but it could have been something else. And I thought of radio scanning it, or like, I forgot what it's called, but like thermal scanning, yeah. But now looking at it, or like now thinking of it, that was kind of dumb because I don't think that you can thermal scan photos. I'm not sure if you can, but I don't think so. So I didn't do that. But one thing that I did notice about it is its resemblance to something called the gargoyle. So now then one thing is, I saw these images of the gargoyle and I thought, oh my goodness, that looks exactly like Colossal Claude. But the thing is, I'm like wondering, did they possibly get mixed up? And I don't think that that's possible because the gargoyle lives inside the Seine River, and that's all the way inside of Europe. And the Colossal Claude lives inside of Oregon. So that's quite a long distance. So I don't think that that's a possibility. But however, I do wonder what is this specific image because I've seen it for the gargoyle and for like the Colossal Claude. And turns out it's actually a sea serpent sketch by Hans Gretel. Wait, I forgot how to pronounce the name. I don't know how to pronounce anything. But yeah, okay. So I guess I figured that out. So yeah, moving on to the third monster. So now the one thing, okay. So we're moving on to the rock bolt slider, or is it the slide rock bolter? I can't really tell. But anyways, this was actually really quite interesting, and in fact, I think that it's more of like a hoax or just some really weird supernatural thingy. Because thing is, I'm like, okay, a lake monster could be possible, but this thing lives inside of the mountains and mimics a whale. So this is the slide rock bolter, I think that's what it's called. It's from Colorado, and basically it just slides down mountains and eats people. Now, the one thing I found interesting is how it's like a whale, but its flippers or fins are different. Like the tail isn't a tail. It's like almost a mix of a dinosaur's foot, as like where the tail should be. So I felt that was pretty interesting, but I also find it weird. Like, are there sightings? In fact, like, I think that there are some sightings, but it's mainly just a lumberjack story. So I found that a little bit odd, and like, you can't really discover if it's real or not because the legend goes that they blew it up with dynamite or explosives. So yeah, so it's not alive anymore. But there are probably some YouTube videos about it, but I don't know, this one seems very weird. So now we're moving on to Tahoe Tessie. So basically, Tessie, I found it kind of like the name. I feel like they tried to copy Nessie with it, but since it's Lake Tahoe, they changed it to Tessie. So yeah, that's just something that I noticed. But like also for like I feel like the whole entire area is just cursed because not only is there a giant water dragon living inside of the lake, but also there's like dead bodies that has been dumped into it. So that was definitely a bit scary. But also the sightings were pretty long, and someone even went into the lake holding a camera trying to record it. And when they came up, they said that they didn't want to share any information that they captured, and that they said that the world isn't ready for it. And I feel like, considering that he made it out alive, I just feel like he didn't see anything, and that he just didn't want to make people sad that there was nothing, or that, like, yeah. So I feel like that guy definitely lied about it, but also the Tessie has been going on for very long, because it said that even Native Americans, they were scared of a giant water dragon living inside of Lake Tahoe. So just thought that I would share that, so yeah. Okay, so now we have the most famous monster, the Loch Ness Monster. So now the one thing about this one is that, like, a lot of people speculate it's a plesiosaurus. Well, I thought, why not a plesiosaurus? Why not an Allosaurus? And I thought that was, I said it wrong. But, like, an Allosaurus? I don't know how to say anything. But it's a type of plesiosaurus. So, yeah, I guess plesiosaurus instead of general could be it. But also, I was wondering if it's a plesiosaurus, what does it eat? And turns out they eat fish, which I don't think that happens inside of Loch Ness because there's, like, literally nothing inside of there other than mud. So, yeah. But another theory a lot of people think is, like, it's, like, giant eels. So I think that could be possible. I mean, it does look like a giant eel. So, yeah, I guess that could be one. And some people think that's the wind, but I personally don't think so. Because if the wind is blowing one way, like if someone's recording the object is like moving the other way. And I don't think that wind can do that, so yeah. So now we're moving on to Chessie from Maryland. So now then, one question I did have about this is that it said that it was last sighted a couple of years ago. It was sighted at like 1 inside of the morning, like 1 a.m. That was really early. And it said that it happened when the tide was high and when like it was less than 5 miles away. And I found that like really intriguing. So yeah. But one question that it raised for me is, what happened to all these sea creatures? Like, you know, people got sightings and everything, and now we got phones and cameras. Or, like, they probably didn't have that back then. But, like, now we have more advanced equipment, and we just don't see the monsters all of a sudden. Like, wow. Okay, the fact that we don't see them anymore and now, like, I mean, like, I don't know, but Chessie hasn't been spotted ever since. Or, like, that was the reported sighting, but I'm not sure if any other sightings have happened. So, yeah. And it was also spotted by a pilot, I think, so yeah. So now we have the Ogopogo. So now then one thing is that this was made inside of Canada, and basically it's this like water serpent again, but this time instead of being like a plesiosaur, it's a basilosaurus. And I'm just like, why? What's the difference? So I googled it up, and turns out that it's actually a type of whale. And okay, now then don't take what I'm saying for real, because I'm not professional. I'm a child. So yeah, this is purely just me doing random stuff because yes. But basically it's supposed to be a whale, I guess. And I guess it's like a prehistoric whale, and I can kind of imply that because it doesn't really have a long outstretched neck. Its neck is kind of stubby, and yeah, I guess its body is just not like and its body doesn't really look like a plesiosaurus. So yeah, and there's also a statue about it, and yeah, so the Ogopogo, so that's it. Okay, so next we have the Stronce beast. Sorry if you're hearing a lot of background noise because I'm outside right now. But one thing I did find interesting is that this isn't just sightings. This was real, okay? This was like a real thing that people saw. Like, and it was dead, washed a beach, okay? So like basically they actually took pieces of its bodies and bones. And it's actually inside of a museum inside of Iceland. So I found that really interesting how like they could theoretically DNA clone it. And also it said that it could be an unidentified species of sea serpent, and it says that it had a mane that kept on glowing even though that its body kept on decaying. So yeah, so I found that really interesting. And I'm really wondering, like, can people actually clone this? Can they bring this back to life? So I found that super interesting because, like, this is, like, solid evidence proof that a sea serpent or some sea monster could theoretically exist. But it could also be a basking shark because they also live inside of the area. So, yeah. Okay, so next we have Charlie. So then this is also known as Slim or Slimy, and once again it's copying Tessie, Chessie, Charlie, or like Nessie. So yeah, so I guess it's all kind of like that. And I couldn't really find a lot of information on this, and it was cited a bunch of times, like starting from 1950 I think, and the last was inside of 2000 something. So once again I'm like wondering, hey, why are there no more sightings? Did that monster die or something? I don't know. But once again, it's all like a plesiosaurus head, and it's like a dinosaur, I guess. And there was even a photo captured that was believed to be Charlie's humps inside of the water. Not sure if that's true. To me, it kind of just looks like a line of rocks because there's no actual video of it. So yeah, but I couldn't find much on this one, so this one's pretty short, so yeah. So now we have Champ. So now this one, it was inside of New York, and it's also like a plesiosaurus, one of those things again. And it was like, thing is, there was actually a really famous photo of it, and I put it into the video. So I'm not sure if it's real or not, but it's the most well known about it, and it's like 200 feet, I think. That's what it said on it. Anyways, yeah. And there has been lots of sightings of it, and it's inside of New York. So yeah, so that's the monster. So that's Champ. So yeah. Okay, so now we have Lake Van, and basically, a lot of people think that this thing's fake, and that it might be a hoax, and also, like, people say that it was created just to attract people to Turkey as like a tourist attraction because it's inside of a pretty remote area, and it looks like any other lake monster slash plesiosaurus and whatever, and it's inside of Turkey, so yeah. But I didn't find much of it, so yeah. Also, there's only like 3 sightings, I think. It wasn't very popular. Okay, so now we have the Atamaha. So basically, this is a monster, and inside of 2008, I think, people got really excited because they thought that they saw the dead body. And in fact, I thought that it was a dead body as well. In fact, it honestly looks kind of grisly inside of the photo, so just try not to throw up. So yeah, and the photo looked really convincing. They had blood and the guts pouring out, I guess. But also, one thing about it is that, like, it was actually fake. Yeah, another fake one. So basically, it was a stuffed shark, and it was made with paper mache. So yeah, so it's still lurking there, I guess. So it's still unsolved. So yeah, so it sadly was a hoax because, people love to troll. So yeah. So now we have the Katie, and I think that honestly looks sort of similar to the Atamaha. Well, no, not really. And basically, it says that, like, there has been over 200 reports of this creature, starting from 1930. I'm not sure if reports are still coming in, but 200 is a lot. So, like, if it's fake, then what are those people seeing? Hallucinating? I don't know. So, yeah. So, this one's also a pretty quick one, but I just was amazed how it was cited 200 times. So yeah. So I just thought that was like so many. Okay, so hello everyone, and basically now we're moving on to the U-24 monster. So now then, this monster was sighted inside of the ocean. So now then, I don't think that anyone's actually going to be able to solve the monster just because it's never been sighted again. And the monster itself mimics like a monosaurus or like some sort of whale, I guess. So yeah, and it's never been sighted again. It was it was inside of World War One and almost World War Two. So yeah, and it's believed to be some sort of plesiosaurus or Hermanosaurus. Now I personally think it's a Basilosaurus, and yeah, okay, so that's basically it. Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce this, but this lake monster is from Sweden, and basically, it's actually on the endangered species list, or at least it was on the endangered species list. And I found this really interesting because the government actually made laws protecting it from 19 something to 2000 something. So it's not being protected right now because it's like 2024, but that's okay. Okay, but anyways, like it was so real to to the like extent that the government had to like protect it, and it said like no hunting it, and I found that really interesting, like a sea serpent that could potentially be real, like the Stronce sea monster. So just thought that that was really cool that it could potentially be real. Okay, so now then the next one we have is the Larfurjot worm. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, so it's this giant worm that lives inside of Iceland. So now then I couldn't really find much information about it, but it said that the first reported sighting was inside 13 something, so that's pretty early on. And there's a very famous video of it that was captured. And then something I did think of bringing up is its resemblance to the Hook Island sea monster. You know, it's both like weird tadpole shaped, you know. So yeah, but also I just found it like so weird because yeah. So also I couldn't really find the video anywhere. So yeah. So that's the Lafferjaw worm, I guess. Okay, so next we have this half dog, half seal thingy. Now then, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it comes from Ireland, and it is very vicious. And in fact, people say that the monster killed someone, and there's a short poem on their tombstone about it. And I found that really interesting. Like, wow, this is like an actual account that happened. Like, it killed someone. So yeah, but other than that, I don't have much information about it, and yeah, okay. But I'm not sure how that woman was killed by the dog seal monster from Ireland. So yeah. Okay, so now we have Selma. Now then, Selma is from Norway and has been sighted, and it's like a lake monster. And basically, it's like they said that they were testing a boat for the Red Cross, like the organization. And when they were testing the boat out inside of the lake, it said that the boat was lifted up, and yeah, so that's pretty impressive how a lake monster lifted up the boat. And also it's from Norway, and Norway has a lot of history of sea monsters and sea serpents in particular, and Selma is a sea serpent. So yeah, so it's from Norway, and it's just like another sea monster. So yeah. Okay, so now we have this lake monster. I'm not sure how to pronounce it as well. Wait, can you even see it? Okay, I'm not sure. But basically, this one has been around for quite a while. It says that there has been 300 reported sightings inside of 200 years. And also, people theorize that it has been around here for much longer because they said that the Vikings saw it, I guess, and the Vikings is very old. I'm not sure if there's still sightings coming in, but that's a very, very long time. So yeah, and that's basically it. And you know, it's just like your other lake monsters with the long neck and the humps. So yeah. Okay, so the next we have the monster of Bear Lake. Now then, this one, it was actually a hoax, or at least they admitted, but it might not be. So basically, they had a hoax, and it made it into the newspaper, and they offered a prize to whoever could catch it. And in fact, later they admitted that it was a hoax, like I said. But then a little bit later, inside of 2007, they also, like, something else was spotted that was sort of like it, and this one was like very weird. So now the monster itself, it said that it had an alligator head and a serpent body, but with legs for some reason. So I found that very weird. And there's not a lot of it on it, but it's inside of Utah, so I guess that's all. Okay, so next we have the Hook Island sea monster. So then this one was known to be presumably one of the best hoax, and basically, people think that it might be fake or real because they have images of it and they have it like really close up, and it's clear enough to make out what it is, but it's not clear enough to see if it's real or not. And basically, there was actually supposed to be an interview to the people who cited it, but the thing is that interview got canceled for whatever reason. So I found that a little bit weird how your interview got canceled. So yeah, and they tried to take a video of it, but the creature supposedly got angry and didn't want to take the video. So I found out all of this, and yeah, it seems pretty interesting. And I don't think it's ever been cited again, but people think that they copied from a book, and they copied the sea serpent type of like a manta ray, I guess, sort of. Anyways, I don't really know the details of this, but yeah. Okay, so the Hook Island sea monster inspired me to make my own hoax of the sea monster. Inspired us because I'm working on someone else's YouTube channel. So yeah, so basically, yeah, so you'll get to see the hoax. So yeah.